Trading for many people is the way to reach goals that otherwise seem unreachable. The unlimited potential of earning sucks many people into a journey that is often taking unexpected turns of events and leads them to emotional roller coaster, frustration, and financial losses. And most traders end up struggling and fighting the market every day for their survival. Only a few succeed. Hi, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk to Derek, who has been trading for over 10 years, and he's going to share his trading journey and talk about his goals, challenges, and successes. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Agnieszka Wood, and I'm the founder of Ahead Coach and my signature rapid transformation programs for traders, the Confident Trader and Trading Mindset Mastery Journey. I work with traders who are struggling to follow the rules and stick to their trading plan, the main causes of losing money in the market. And I help them to get out of the failing cycle, stop losing their gains, and build consistency so they can finally become profitable, achieve freedom and financial independence, and live the life they desire. So Derek, thank you so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that it will resonate with my audience. Would you like to give us a little introduction and tell us a bit about how your trading journey started?
Well, hey, thanks for the intro, and thanks for having me on here. I'm super excited. I've had so much fun over the last couple of months, and I'm just really excited to share it. Um, I guess I've been a struggling trader for probably over 10 years. I was introduced at a seminar. Someone introduced me to the concept of trading and what it could be and what it is. And I, like everybody else, jumped in 2 feet, full throttle, cannonball into the water, and I thought I couldn't fail. And within 3 months, I was underwater going, what did I do wrong? And I studied and I studied and I studied and I studied and I studied. And I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I didn't get anywhere. And it was the most frustrating thing is that I'd be super high and be super low and super high and super low and all over the board. And I mean, it was crazy. And that's when I met you. And that was over a 10-year cycle. So that wasn't like 2 weeks that I was struggling. It was like 10 years. I'd have good years, I'd have bad years, but after 10 years, probably my net profit was $0. So
Wow.
this is great to be here.
Yeah, I say wow, but it is not really uncommon. I have been struggling myself for quite a while before things started to turn around. Was that your intention from the very start to trade for a living, or did you just started to say, hey, let me just make extra money?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I probably looking back at it now, that's probably what my biggest issue was. I didn't have an outcome. I didn't have a goal. I just wanted to make money. I didn't really know why. It was just kind of, wee, this is fun. Right. And then the flashing lights and you get sucked into it and you kind of lose your objective. So I don't think I ever wanted to be a trader from the beginning. I was just so enamored by it, by how it worked and all the things behind it. As I've continued to grow and develop, I can definitely see it's for sure on the table in the next 2 to 5 years. That's where I plan on being.
That's awesome. What a turn of events, huh? But isn't it
Yeah.
like that's such a typical story, right? Of traders just getting into trading because of money and then actually losing money. That's just the irony of it, right? We think, okay, I'm getting there for freedom, for money, financial independence, and then you end up struggling and finding out the one thing that's really important is to start restraining yourself and being disciplined. There goes
That's
my
right.
freedom, right? I can't do what I want.
Well, I remember telling my wife when I first started, I'm like, this is for freedom, so we can come and do whatever we want whenever we want. And it just oh, it went backwards. Then you next thing you know, you're trapped and behind and losing, and you're like, this isn't what I signed up for. But that carrot's still out there, and you're like, I know I can do it. Other people can do it. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And once those pieces start falling into place, then the clarity came, and it really got easy, believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe it. I
Yeah.
believe it, but to get that clarity, it takes time. And especially like when you are at the beginning and you also told everyone, or at least your wife, which is, is like the most significant person, right? That you made sort of a promise, but then you start struggling. I'm curious actually what she said when you told her, hey, we'll be free and we can do whatever we want. Did she bought into it,
Oh
or
yeah,
did she
she was
buy into it?
100% she was 100% into it. And yeah, we set our 3-year goals or 5-year goals, and like, this is how much money I'm going to make, and this is what we're going to do. And 6 months into it, I was like, all right, we need to reevaluate this. And I had to do the walk of shame, right? Like, just
Yeah.
head held low. And she's like, what's the matter? And I'm like, I don't know.
Was she involved in your trading at all?
She wasn't then, but she is very much now, which has also been really, really beneficial. It's been really great. Yeah, but back then it was just so much shame. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
control my emotions. I couldn't control my decisions, and I'd have to report to her every once in a while. And she just shook her head and she's like, "What are you doing?" And it was just, yeah, it was one of the
Yeah.
lower points in my life. And but she saw the big picture and she saw what it could be. And we persevered through it.
I mean, definitely makes you stronger, not just you as a person, but it, especially if you go through it with your spouse and she can find the understanding for it to the point that she's even, getting herself into it.
Yeah, right.
That's definitely a big win. And like looking back, you can say it was all worth it. But I know that at the moment when you are there, it's pretty tough for sure.
Yeah, it was terrible. In one of your first videos, you talked about the why, right? Why do you do it?
Mhm.
And this past month, we celebrated our 19-year anniversary. And
Congratulations.
well, thank you. And it was on a Tuesday, so we decided to shut down the shop, close work, and go to the city and go to a show on a Tuesday night. And we stayed overnight. And Wednesday, we woke up. We went to Barnes and Noble. I opened my computer. I waited for a trade, hit the button, closed it down, and completely detached from it. And it was in the moment with my wife. We were having a great time, and all of a sudden, my phone dings, and I looked, and I hit my target, and it was enough to pay for the whole trip. And it was the freedom that we were looking for. It was. I know you always talk about celebrating the wins, and that was the win. That
Mm.
was the win that we'd been waiting for so long. It was really cool.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. And what a timing, huh? To do
I
it
know,
like
right?
that it happened on that day and that you
On
could
that day.
celebrate it together.
And
Yeah,
don't get me
wow.
wrong, there's still a lot of struggles that there's still a lot to learn, but that's one of our anchoring moments.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. So what would you say was your like the biggest challenge to make money? Was it making money or was it the losing part?
Probably detaching from it. Like I've learned now, like, trading is really easy. It's objective. But when you get really emotional, and when you put your value onto what you're doing, the profit and loss, like, it can really mess you up really quick. Like,
Mm.
like you were saying, when you lose, you're like just defeated. And when you win, you're euphoric. And this roller coaster going up and down, it just destroys your emotions. And that was probably the hardest part. You go from high to low in like 2 days, and it just wasn't sustainable. But you really taught me how to step back and honor the process and be objective and not emotional into it, and stay grounded and stay real. And when that happens, that's when the beauty is. What I found is when the beauty starts happening.
That's when you can really enjoy it, right?
It is. Like, right before I got on the call with you, I got into a trade, and I'm in it right now. And 3 months ago, man, I would have been glued to my computer, just white knuckled, like, it's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I have no idea what's going on right now, but I know where my profits are, I know where my stops are, and I'm just going to let it do its thing.
Fantastic. Yeah, the
Isn't it?
detachment. I mean, like I can sense it and I can see it on you. It's like I know what I'm doing, and yeah, it is what it is, right? If it works, it works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it's part of the plan. It's all
Right.
good.
I'm not defined by my failures. I'm not defined by my success. I'm defined by honoring the process, the just the whole journey of the process.
I'm sure you have heard that many times before even we met, right? On like follow
Oh
the
yeah.
process, honor the process, like you shouldn't be emotional because that's like everywhere. Everyone says you have to control your emotions. So what was really the turning point for you to like how what really changed that this time you really heard it and you were actually able to implement it?
It was because you asked me and didn't tell me. That was it. I was reflecting over this the other day, and everybody who I'd listen to would tell me what to do, and anybody who tells me what to do, I'll kind of back away from. But you never
Mm.
told me what to do. You would always ask me, and that always put me back in my tracks and like, uh, 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 and you made me think about it. And once I had to think about
Oh.
it, once I had to go inward and figure out what was actually going on. Like you asked me once, like, what is a trader? And I was like, oh, this guy's a trader, and she's a trader. This is what they do. And I'm like, well, that's not what I want to do. So I had to define what my parameters were, what I wanted to do, and be okay with that.
Mm.
And it was just all the questions that you asked me. It drove me nuts,
Yeah.
but it really got me to where I'm at.
Yeah, I always say like I will always say what will bring you step further, not always what you want to hear.
That's right. That's exactly right. And there's a difference between, what was it, being nice and being kind. And sometimes you weren't very nice, but you were very kind by asking the questions.
Mm. Mm. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it a lot, and I know it's like I don't have all the answers, but I have a damn good questions.
That's right. 100%. 100%. That's a true gift that you got.
Thank you. I'm happy. I'm happy that it made such a big difference for you, for sure. Was there any point in time when you thought, okay, I really have to start working on my mindset? It is not my strategy. It is not that I'm doing something wrong. It's up here.
Oh, yes, 100%. It was totally last year. Um, Last January, I decided what I wanted to do. And I got to the point where I got it. I met my January goal. It was February 28th, and I was like $200 for my profit target. And by the end of February 28th, I had lost half of what I've gained over the first month and a half. Like,
Wow.
because in this moment, I knew that I had achieved what I wanted, and it totally freaked me out. And over the next 3 or 4 months, I just kept losing, kept losing, kept losing. And then all of a sudden, like 7 trades in a row, I bought at the top, sold at the bottom, like to the penny almost. Like, and at that moment in time, I thought, it's me. This is all up in here. Well, like there is something wrong. And I'm laughing about it now, but at the time, like I was at the bottom of the barrel. I thought, I'm broken. And that's when I reached out to you. And I remember just saying, like thinking, I am so broken. You can't even convince me that I'm not,
That I'm fixable.
that I'm fixable. And I was just like, I remember I jumped on a call with you and I'm like, she's just gonna tell me I'm broken. I'm not worth it. But somehow or another you worded it right and you talked me through it and that really gained momentum. And that momentum gained more momentum and things started shifting and things started getting better. And here we are today.
Yeah. I remember when we met actually first time in August last year. And after our first call, I know you decided not to work with me. And then we met again in December. And that's when you joined the Trading Mindset Mastery Journey, the group program. And I'm curious, what changed? What has changed in that time, in that period? Can you recall what happened in that period that you first said, like, after the call, and then you said, okay, I'm gonna do it?
Probably at that point in time I had nothing else to lose. But and I still wasn't when we met in August, like I knew I could do it, but I didn't want to accept that I could do it. So like, it was like a really personal journey. I remember when we first talked, like you would ask me questions, and the more questions I felt like this wall come up, like, don't get, this is my, I was victim mentality. I was like, don't hurt my victim.
I
But
want to
then
keep my narrative. I want to keep
that's
my
right.
story.
I don't want to change, darn it.
Oh,
But then,
isn't it amazing how our mind
oh, it's
plays
crazy.
tricks on us?
Yeah, and then I guess the analogy I could probably do is like when we were little kids, there was always a monster under the bed. We'd always call mom and dad like, "Hey, there's a monster in the closet," and they'd open the door and turn on the light, and there was never a monster. And just a couple email correspondence that I had with you, you were the person that opened the closet door and been like, "No, there's
Mm,
not." And from that point in time, like I really let my guard down. I was like, she's here to help me. I want the change. Let's go for it.
beautiful. And sometimes it just takes time. It is a process to let yourself succeed. Was there any major breakthrough? Like you joined the journey program. Was there like a major breakthrough that you had that said, okay, or was it more like a gradual process?
It was gradual, but there was big breakthroughs on each session. Like I could only do probably one session every week, or well, probably every other week, once a month, because there's just so much information to digest. Like I could have easily just went through the whole program in like a weekend and been like, okay, that was cool. I learned a lot. But like I really wanted to like do the work, do the hard work. So I'd do a lesson and just digest, and then uh, prepared a couple questions for the call, and you would really walk us through the whole journey and like put the pieces together, and then I'd go to the next one and kind of go through that same thing. There's a lot of reflection, a lot of just deep diving, but it's been really great. And also the other people in the class are like in the same boat you are. The last call we had, like I got so much knowledge from one of the other students. He was telling his story. I'm like, oh my God, that's me. So he's got the same issue. And then you walked him through it and you were walking me through it. And like it was
Yeah.
just a really, really neat moment.
What were you expecting when you signed up for the program? What did you want to get out of it, and
To
did you accomplish it?
be 100% honest, I had zero expectations. I was so broken.
You're like, whatever it is, even if I make a small step, it's fine.
Even if I make one step, we're going to make a little bit of progress. And I was really skeptical. I'm like, I've been doing this for 10 years. I was stuck in this rut. So I wasn't expecting much. And man, what I've got out of it is just been mind blowing.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Like, what in particular was the mind-blowing part? You were coming to the sessions, you were doing the work outside of the sessions. What really made you progress?
I was just so intrigued. I was so intrigued with the questions you would ask and how you would ask them and when you would ask them that I was like, okay, this isn't about me being told what to do. This is about figuring out who I am. And then that's really how it all started to kind of fall into place. And then you talked a lot about self-love and um, honoring yourself and doing what's in your best interest. And all those pieces were broken in me. So as I started to heal those pieces, then the stronger foundation was built, and we just kept building on top of that.
Beautiful. There's also my goal with that program is to really focus on you bringing your attention to you, because it doesn't matter whether you exactly remember what the mental skill was. What really matters is, are you going to act in your best interest? Are you going to honor yourself? Are you going to have integrity towards yourself? And that's
Yeah,
that's what I aim to bring over, and not just to tell you that, but to really have you integrated throughout the program.
yeah, yeah. There's been a lot of self healing through all of this, and that's a great thing. Like I'd ask you a question and trying to project it onto you, and you'd throw it right back at me, make me deal with it, which
Yeah,
has been
I
great.
like
Which has been great.
yeah, I like to teach by doing what I teach, if you know what I mean. It's like walk your talk, right? So was the program worth the investment?
Hands down, hands down.
And I'm not only talking about the money, but also the time that you have put into
Yeah.
it.
No, and that's kind of where I've come to in this journey. First, it was about the money, and now it's about the process. About the money is really not even. I mean, money's great. It's fun, but it's about getting right with yourself so that you can honor yourself, and then as a result, the money flows in. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was totally worth it. I mean, the investment was minimal. You can make that in make that in 20 minutes, hour in the market if you know what you're doing. But if you're not willing to receive it, you're just going to keep throwing it away.
When you put your effort and your time into something, and the money investment, again, as you said, it's really minimal, because the program is now like, what, $650, and you get 6 months. And I think when you purchase it, you actually got a year.
Oh, wow.
I think I think you bought it in December, so that was still the launch period. So you
Yeah.
have actually, you had 1 year of coaching calls.
Fabulous.
So now when you sign up, you get the 3 months plus 3 months bonus. So 6 months of coaching calls, which is still, a lot for that process. And times,
Incredible. Incredible.
the whole idea was to have something for people who are struggling, who really don't have that big investment money to put into their trading, right? They don't even know if they can ever trade for a living. They just want to get a little better, right?
Right.
So I thought, the little better I don't get satisfied with. I really want a lot better to start with. And that's where the journey kind of got started, 90 days to consistency. So any other specific insights that were key to your progress that you would like to share? Maybe like the key takeaways for the audience.
I love the holistic approach. Like it was a lot of self reflection. There's some physical as well, like getting grounded. Like, how do you get grounded? How do you get your? I remember one day I was totally messed up, and you said, "Get out of your head," and I was like, "Get out of my head," and it took me a while, and then I realized like how my body is involved with this whole thing. So that was like one big takeaway that we haven't talked about yet, is just how to get out of your head and into your body, get that reconnection and that was very helpful too. This morning I got triggered before the market opened, and I had to get grounded, and I had to like get out of my head before I jumped in. And I was able to do that a whole lot quicker. Instead of a couple of days, is 30 minutes maybe. So that was that was another big takeaway we haven't talked about.
That's awesome. If someone is wondering, is this program for me? Because, like, where are you now on your journey?
The first and probably most important thing is I've become, I have more integrity with myself. So when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, versus before I would say I'm going to do the strategy, and the next thing you know, I was totally off in left field doing something else, and I wasn't being right. I didn't have the integrity. I wasn't honoring myself. So that, I mean, that in and of itself is worth price of admission, just to figure out how to get back right with yourself, because that's going to bleed on all different aspects of your life. Your family, finances, your fun, all those things. So once you can start getting right with yourself, good things happen. I'm consistently profitable on the month. Last month I was like you. I had a week that I was off, and I reviewed it, and I was like, God, that was terrible. I was able to pivot quick. Like over the weekend, I pivoted and I got back on track. And the next week, I gained everything that I lost, and by the end of the month, I was up. This month, I'm up. And the best part about it is I'm not like freaked out about it. I'm not watching the market. I'm not just consumed by the fear and greed, the FOMO, and all the things going on, because I'm comfortable with who I am now and where I'm going.
A big win, a huge win.
It's been great.
Awesome.
But it's one of those things that you got to do the work. You got to get in there and get introspective, and you got to face some of those demons. Look under the bed a couple times. But once you do, you realize there's nothing under there.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
The thought that something might be there is more scary than actually the monster that might be there,
Right.
Because our imagination makes things bigger and more scary than they actually are. We have this beautiful mind that can create things that are not there, and then really make us feel something about it.
Right.
Yeah. But isn't it amazing? It's like, it has been just 3 months, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. And people would not believe, many people would say, 3 months, I've been struggling with this for 10 years, right? Can you turn it around in 3 months? And I say, you can turn it around tomorrow.
right?
because it's just here, but if you keep standing yourself in a way, it might take another 10 years. So it's up to you.
Right.
Really making the change, it's not taking long, it's making the decision to change. That takes us always a lot of time. Fighting against ourselves. And I'm
Fighting.
like, just give up the fight. It's really that easy. Give up the fight and go the way you want it. That's all it takes.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, right. Okay, that's the first thing. That there is your first belief. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now we got to get to that.
Let's get through that first.
Been there,
So
done that.
yes, yeah. With all the respect, you have done the work. I mean, I've seen you really taking time and honoring the time that you need to do that. So I think that cannot be, undermined. And I want to stress what you said is like you have to do the work. I don't have a magical, trick or a wand that say, "Hey, you healed," right? No, you have to go through that healing process yourself. And yes, I guide you through it, but it's in you. You got to heal from inside. So, and that's the beauty of it, is that okay, I have it in me, I just don't see it. Let me get someone to show it to me. Yeah.
And it's not as bad as you think it is.
No, and
It never
and
is.
it's worth it, right? And it's
Yeah,
worth
for sure.
it. What's your next step on your trading
Next,
journey?
I'm just going to keep getting better and better and better. Yeah, I mean, and this kind of goes back to where it all started with. Trading is just pushing a button, knowing when to push a button, and it doesn't matter how many zeros you have behind it. So ultimately, the freedom is there. It's just walking into it. That's the
That
cool part.
that's a beautiful vision. And if you really think about it, it is actually simple, right?
It's so simple, so easy, but we make it so hard. Like looking back at it now, it's crazy. When I was in the moment, though, it was you could have hit me with a 2x4, and I still wouldn't have believed you.
Well,
But that's
I'm so happy you seen the light.
yeah, me too. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It was absolutely, my pleasure. And I have no doubt that you are going to reach really great things, probably sooner than you think, even with the speed that you're going now forward, but also without pushing, you're really taking the
Right,
time to go. The funny thing is, like, when you take those steps one by one, it seems to get you there faster than when
it
you're pushing
does.
to go fast, right?
Yeah. I forgot I read a quote the other day talking about that. The harder you push, the harder you get pushed back. Right. And
Yeah.
that's where I was. Like I felt like the harder I pushed, like the harder I pushed back.
The art of letting go,
The harder
you
letting
know?
go. It's like counterintuitive, but
I
it's where the
know.
magic is.
I love talking to you. This is like, we can probably go on for another 2 hours.
I know, right? For sure.
But thank you so much for being here today, Derek, and for sharing your story. For me, it has been true honor and pleasure to guide you through your journey, and also, to help you make those huge steps forward. And I really cannot wait to see where you get next. So
Me neither.
have a great day, and we'll speak soon. We are still seeing each other till the end of the year, and I'm sure beyond, because I'm always in
Oh,
touch with my students. So have a great day, and thank you again for being here.
thank you.